Hello everyone and welcome to this week's episode of the Ratliff Mandolins weekly production diary. I am sort of making out a job jar list of things to do this week because I've got so many different jobs that we're in the process of. And the number one job on this little list here is I've agreed and promised to bend a couple of sets of sides for a fellow over in North Carolina. So as we take the three mandolins that I glued the tops on the sides last week, as I take those mandolins out of those molds and free those molds up, I'm going to bend some more sides and put those in the mold to get started on the process of gluing up a set of sides for that fellow in North Carolina. And I'm going to take those three mandolins and put them with the other two that we already had done and run those through the process of trimming up the top and putting in the neck joint and putting in the F holes and sawing the scroll out and carving the scroll down to get them ready to put in binding. And at that point, then I'm going to have to make sure I know which mandolin is going to be which number in the batch, because I think one of these mandolins is going to have black, and the other one, I think there's another one with tortoise, and I'm not really sure about that. I'm gonna have to go in there and look at the work order again to make sure that I have this mandolin gets white binding, this one gets this one gets tortoise, blah, 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 blah. So I need to make sure all of these mandolins get their numbers in the batch assigned to them this week. And then once the binding is done, which I will get nowhere near getting that done this week, I'm sure, we'll need to put necks in them. And I think there's a couple of necks that are pretty much ready to install in there, but I'm also pretty sure that we're going to have to take the raw stock, those raw neck blanks that we sawed out of those boards 4 or 5 episodes ago, and turn those into real necks with smooth surfaces and the truss rod slot cut in them and the peg head wings put on and the shaped out and roughly rounded over and all like that. So that's another job that's on this list. And then that's, so far I've not even mentioned, that's whole stack of backs that you saw last week that are pretty much ready to be carved and will have to be carved before we'll have a complete mandolin. So the job, we're in that area of a batch process that where there's about 1 million jobs that's happening all at one time, and so you just kind of take a deep breath and dive in, and what you don't get today you can get tomorrow. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to go take those three mandolins out of the prop bar deck, free those molds up, and heat the bending molds up and try to get some more sides bent. And the footage that you've been watching is some of the jobs that were done around the shop here this week. And the final tally and score at the end of the week is that we have 5 mandolin bodies here with the neck joints cut in and F-holes are put in. They've all been trimmed up and cleaned up and sanded down a little bit. The scroll has been put in and the scroll arches have been carved in there on all 5. We have, they're ready for binding now. And the only one that has a number at this point is this one right here because it is mandolin number 3. We chose this one because it was the nicest and most even of that side wood from that board in Pennsylvania, So that was number 3. The rest of them will be assigned numbers next week as we do the binding jobs on those with either tortoise or white or whatever the work orders tell me to put on there. Also this week I got the 2 sets of sides. Well, actually I got 3 sets of sides bent, but 2 of them are going to go to a fellow in North Carolina, so they're not sanded down and evened up or anything, but by this time next week, hopefully they'll be in a box and gone to that man. A couple of sets of sides that he ordered. I did not get to, this was on my job list as well this week, this pile of backs, and the week run out and I just didn't get them done. So next week we'll be gathering up all the stuff and putting things back in the boxes and making sure we got all the parts, or as many as we can possibly get, to finish this batch of 10 and have all of the parts to put together in this batch of 10. So all that's going to happen next week. Hope you come back and join me then for the next episode of the Ratliff Mandolins Weekly Production Diary, and we'll see you then. Bye.